Okay, my name is Steve De Jong. I'm the CEO of VRIFY Technology. Have with me today Ian Graham, the president of Oroco. We're going to be talking about Oroco, some results specifically that came out this morning. But before we get into it, Ian, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us what you've been up to?
Sure. Thanks, Steve. Great to be on. Ian Graham, I'm the president of Oroco, and really, as a focus for me within the corporation over the last few years, been entirely geared towards executing on drilling, putting in place the infrastructure, etc., on the project in order to take us from the standing start and during COVID and get the work done on a mineral resource estimate, which we were pleased to put out this morning. My focus in particular over this period involved relocating to Mexico, to the project area. Linda, my wife, joined me down there for that exercise, and we had the privilege of joining with our on-the-ground team, putting in place 3 exploration camps that supported our initiatives, along with a major logging shack, a fairly sizable area. We put in all the core storage, etc., and then we executed on the phase 1 drilling program, which involved 76 drill holes, some up to 1 kilometer in length, and the drilling of 50,000 meters almost of HQ and NQ core. So sizable program that got us prepared for the announcement that went out this morning.
Yeah, so I'd say one thing that I think your investors and anyone who follows the company have been able to rely on is steady flow of pretty exciting drill results. I know our team at VRIFY love those phone calls once a week to know there's more results coming that we get to put into 3D. So it must be exciting to have all of this work that you've been doing and all these drill results finally come together in this resource estimate. So maybe tell us a little bit about the resource estimate and what that means for the company.
Yeah, certainly. So the estimate that we put out this morning is the result of work by SRK in the US, and they've taken our data, all of the assays, all of the drilling, surveying, etc. They have incorporated into that piece of work historical drilling. So we went and found the residue and remnant materials for drilling done prior to 1994. We've reboxed and rephotographed all of that. And as a result of our careful resurveying of hole locations, etc., SRK was able to use the majority of historical assay data. So that was a good achievement and a result of good work by SRK. Then SRK put together a pit with reasonable expectations of an economic return, a fairly standard set of measures that are used in mineral resource estimates. And with that, they were able to do some estimation of the indicated and inferred resources at Santo Tomas. The reason that most of the resource sits in indicated and inferred is that they invoked the historical drilling, which precludes putting some of that estimation into the measured category. We're absolutely thrilled with the results that came out of that. We were well aware of historical work and estimates, and it was on that basis that we raised money and went into the fields to campaign the drilling at Santo Tomas. And we've come out with results that can be read online and in the release. But 487 million tons of material in the indicated category, grading 0.36% copper equivalent. And our copper equivalent calculation includes the recovery factors that we would anticipate seeing from copper, molybdenum, gold, and silver. So very nice indicated resource, and then sizable inferred category resource. That includes the South Zone prospect, which we've done a fairly significant drill program on, but need to do further drilling. And that essentially was 599.9 million tons, almost 600 million tons of a similar copper equivalent grade at the 0.36 level, to establish a current resource that I think gives us over 1 billion tons of measured and indicated material that contains copper equivalent of plus 8,000 million pounds of copper equivalent, 8,500 million pounds. So an extremely robust result for us, and I think an adequate return on the investment in the 76 drill holes that we've done. Today's MRE only counts 73 of the drill holes. We are awaiting results for the most recent drill holes. We anticipate them quite soon, and we'll be incorporating those results into a PEA, which will come out in the third quarter. But fundamentally, the results that we announced today have enabled us to take the firm decision that we'll proceed through the PEA as expeditiously as possible. So very exciting indeed.
Hey, congratulations. It's always nice when you get that news out and you get to start thinking about the future. It's like your wedding or anything else. It's so intimidating, and then the day it gets out, you can finally start thinking about what comes next.
Exactly. So we're excited about that. We've stood down drilling presently, Steve, so that we can take these results and contemplate the phase 2 work that we will enter into with the full knowledge of and having fully digested the work that we've done to date. So
just before we started recording, you were showing me some of the visuals and just what this looks like. Maybe why don't we go through some of that?
Sure. So Steve, it's spectacular country that the project is located in. Here we've got a view essentially northward from the South Zone, looking over the North Zone, which is where the indicated mineral reserve is. So maybe I'll just sort of highlight the zone of the indicated, and then the indicated and inferred incorporate that zone all the way down into South Zone. I need to get that a little. It's essentially this zone. So we're very pleased with the coverage we've got. Obviously, we have not incorporated into the mineral resource estimate any of the exploration drilling that we did at the Brasiles zone. That's the zone that I will try and indicate up here. But obviously we also got good copper grades, etc. up there. So we're very excited at the project, both at the resource that we have put together at this stage of development, but obviously we also have significant upside at Brasiles and some upside remaining at the southwest zone, sort of out in this direction at the southwest part of South Zone. So the work to date, I think, has very much prepared us for proper planning of future work that we can initialize in an efficient manner and get high returns on the future drilling. But certainly we have a project that has confirmed all our hopes and expectations that came from the now significantly dated historical work. So, yep, very exciting.
Great. All right. Well, thanks, Ian. That's exciting. Congrats again on getting that out. Looking forward. I'm lots of drill results to come, and the PA as well. I'm sure a lot of people will be keeping their eyes on, or investors will be keeping their eyes out for that. Anything else we didn't want to, is there anything else that we didn't touch on today that you'd like investors to know?
Certainly, Steve. Investors will have noted that there's been quite a lot in the news in relation to Mexico with respect to proposed new legislation in the country. And we're monitoring that very closely, including receiving, viewpoints from our own legal contacts and people who support us. It has been difficult to follow the proposed legislation and the track through the legislative process. But our understanding is that this will potentially have consequences for people in the sector. But we're beginning to, I think, understand the process and where it might go a little better. So the industry has had some opportunity to engage and offer input. And as we understand the legislation at present, many of the potentially negative consequences have either been modified or improved some. So from our perspective, we expect that existing mineral concessions will have a significant degree of grandfathering benefit that will accompany those who already have concessions. And so although it is difficult to fully calibrate the process and the likely outcomes, it appears that the constitutional protections that exist in Mexico are going to make it very difficult to fundamentally and extensively change the concessions and the prospects of projects that are well advanced or in operation. So we're watching it keenly, but we do want to assure investors that in our view, we're very confident that the Santo Tomas project has been sufficiently advanced in recent times and will be the beneficiary of very significant grandfathering protection.
That's great. It's good to know. Thanks for that, Ian. Well, congrats again. Big milestone for yourselves, and look forward to seeing what comes next.
Thanks, Steve.